am going to talk about a very famous international conflict, the Korean War, which occurred from 25th June 1950 to 27 July 1953. Before going into the war, let's go before what it all happened, where it all started. Till 1910, Korea was ruled by Joseon dynasty. There was no partition like North Korea and South Korea. The Korea was unified and it was ruled by the Joseon dynasty. But on 1910, Japan annexed Korea by the Japan-Korea Annexation Treaty. From 1910 till 1945, Korea was under Japan's control. As we all know, in 1945, the World War II ended and Japan lost to the Allied powers, which were Britain, France, USA and Soviet. When Japan lost to them, it unconditionally surrendered to them and the Korea was no longer under Japan's control. The Soviet forces started to come from the northern region of Korea, while the United States forces started to come from the southern region of Korea. They both were coming and they decided to stop at the middle, which was called as the 38th parallel. They both started the 38th parallel and they tried to rule Korea for some time, but then in 1949 they both left Korea and the northern region of Korea was ruled by Kim Il-sung, who was a communist dictator and he was supported by the Russian as well as the Chinese because they were all communists. While the southern region of Korea, there were elections held and Syngman Rhee, he came into administrative power. Both Kim Il-sung and Syngman Rhee, they wanted to take Korea for themselves and they wanted to rule Korea by only them. They wanted to defeat each other and they started building their military powers. And South Korea was on its own, no one supported it, but the North Korea, the Russian army, they helped building the North Korean army. This resulted in an imbalance between the South Korean and North Korean army. The North Korean army became more and more powerful, and on 25th June 1950, the North Korean army crossed the 38th parallel and started attacking the South Korea. They captured Seoul, which was the capital of South Korea, and they almost captured all of South Korea by September of 1950, leaving only the Busan perimeter with the Korea. The United States, which was watching all this, they couldn't tolerate it because they don't want communism to spread as they were capitalists themselves. So they took the help of United Nations and United Nations forces and the South Korean forces, they all assembled in the Busan perimeter and with their brilliant strategy, which was under the command of General MacArthur, they again recaptured Seoul and made North Koreans go way back the 38th parallel. But General MacArthur didn't want to stop there. He wanted to go even beyond further the 38th parallel and he wanted to even capture the North Koreans. So what he did was he kept going on and he successfully captured Pyongyang, which was the capital of North Korea. He almost captured all of North Korea except the Yalu River. He wanted to go beyond the Yalu River, which was close to the Chinese, because he thought that the Chinese were not serious about defending the North Koreans. So he started to go on further, but to his unfortunate, he was wrong. The Chinese were serious about defending the North Koreans and they secretly crossed the Yalu River and they pushed back the South Korean United Forces army. They pushed back them beyond the 38th parallel. They even captured Seoul once again. But General MacArthur again, with his brilliant strategy, he again captured Seoul and the situation was back to the same place. Above the 38th parallel, it was North Korea, and below the 38th parallel, it was South Korea. The General MacArthur, he still didn't give up. He wanted to use nuclear powers against the Chinese and North Korean forces. This wasn't really liked by the United States President at the time. President Truman didn't agree with MacArthur, and on April 1951, Truman dismissed MacArthur from his general position. But the war still went on. Even though there were negotiations held, the war was still going on in the region of the 38th parallel. After a long gap of 2 years, both the countries on 27 July 1953, they signed an armistice which said that we will stop the war. They didn't sign a peace treaty, but they signed an armistice. They only said we will fight the war, but we are not in peace yet. So after that, the North Korea and South Korea, they were not really on good terms. There were many situations where the tension elevated in the 38 parallel region, and it was one of the 38 parallel region was one of the highly militarized zone in the world. They are full of security, ready to attack each other. It was from 1953 till 2018. It was like that. But on 27th April 2018, the Inter-Korean Summit was held, and under the guidance of Chinese and U.S. President, the President of South Korea was Moon Jae-in, and the President of North Korea was Kim Jong-un. They both signed a peace treaty under the Panmunjom Declaration. They took steps to become friends, and right now, at the present, the North and South Korea are in peace. They are slowly reducing their military forces in the 38th parallel, and they are starting communications between those two countries, and they are becoming more friendly. And in the future, if this continues, in the future, both the countries will be a pleasant neighbors without any conflicts or wars or anything. That's all from my side. Thank you and have a nice day.